of our convention business. All right, could we have order in the hall? We have order, please. You notice my turn to chair, and you turn around, and where is everybody? Okay, I have a speaker on mic 6. Sister. Hold it. Can you guys turn on 6 for us?
I would like to apologize to the translators because my French isn't what it used to be. Mais je voulais juste dire, je suis...
But I just wanted to say that I'm very sorry not to have this piece of paper in French. I've read this presentation is French, but only in English. So to my brothers and sisters who are French-speaking, I'm sorry. Please come and get boxes of shreddies. And again, I apologize for not having all that in French.
Thank you, sister. Oh, speaker on mic 2.
Bob Lane from Local 899. I just wanted to say that this morning, I know we all came in and we reserved our chairs for our buddies and we all sat down and had a great morning. Since then, some of us have found other places to sit and other people to be with. Our table 129 has 4 empty chairs that I'd be happy to have those that are in another room be able to come and join us down here. And I hope anyone else can open up their chairs as well.
That is correct. There is a few down here that are open, so through the proceedings without being disruptive, there is a little more room and space here to squeeze some bodies in. So it is my extreme pleasure and honor to chair this afternoon's business. So this morning,
Mike 4.
Oh, wait a minute, mic 4. Thank you.
I got to lower it. Ken Neal, Local 109. Seeing this flyer this morning from 11:01 made me think. Our national should send an email to all the locals, telling every local what our locals make, so we can support each other and keep our jobs going.
Good point, brother.
Thank you.
Whoa. Microphone 6.
Oh. I'm Sister Jacqueline Moneypenny from Local 232, and with me are my 232 brothers and sisters. As a woman and a person with white privilege, I'm frustrated with the lack of diversity from the group of speakers at this historical convention. I want to lend my support to Sister Carrie Ann Taylor, who spoke earlier today. Sisters and brothers, we have a lot of work to do before the First Canadian Council. I want to encourage people to have discussions, join committees, get to regional councils, and for those with privilege, to use that privilege to work towards creating the diverse new union that we deserve and should aspire to.
Great, sister, you couldn't be any more right. And when you see at the conclusion of the election process a very different, diverse union, representing and reflecting our membership, you'll understand why the old gray guys supported so strongly the creation of Unifor and opening this opportunity to be far more inclusive and transparent. So your voice is absolutely correct, and I really appreciate your comments. Microphone 6.
Thank you, Brother Coles. I'm an old gray-haired man as well, but I also have the privilege of being the president of Local 232, and I wanted to lend a voice to what Jacqueline just said. And I want to read one quote from page 1 of your vision document that says, "From the beginning, our union is fully committed to reflecting the incredible diversity of our membership, including new constitutional provisions to ensure leading roles for women, workers of color, and Aboriginal workers in our union, and an emphasis on equity and inclusion for all equity-seeking members in all our activities. And I want to stress, in all our activities means in all our activities, including this very convention. So I respectfully ask that we find a way to create the space and allow those voices to be heard today and in all future Unifor venues and events. And I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
All right, I mean, here's the explanation, sisters and brothers, and I wish you'd kind of listened to Brother Luenza this morning. What we have is a technical process that passes the old to the new. So up until a few minutes from now, Unifor is just born. But the leadership of Unifor has not been elected yet. And the diversity and the voices and the transparency will be there. But we had two previous organizations that we can't change. I can't change the fact that I was president except to create the new union. We had one guest speaker and that's it. The rest of it is all process. Sister and Mike 6.
The point is, though, that even that there are, the old guard, if you will, is going down. There are other processes, for example, with the IT explanation where women or people of color could have been incorporated into the process. That was Anthony's point.
All right, well, let's see what this looks like in a few minutes from now. I accept your criticisms, except I couldn't help that I was the president. I happen to be an old white guy. So good afternoon, delegates. Once again, I got to tell you, it is my pleasure to chair this afternoon session. Now, we have some incredible business to do, starting with the election of our leadership to the new union, Unifor. And then we got to proceed to actually merging the CAW and the CEP into Unifor to give us the authority to conclude today's business and start out as the new union. So before we start the election process, I want to give a presentation to you on the process and how it'll work. We're going to do a PowerPoint, and we're going to review the leadership structure of the new union that is embodied in our new Constitution. And Brother Stanford is going to help me out. And I would like the IT crew to bring up the PowerPoint. All right? So what I'd like you to do is, Jim, if you can get to the key principles of our PowerPoint as we get ready for our first election. So just to review how this come about, the proposal committee's final report toward a new union identified the key principles of Unifor's leadership team. It was going to be collective, balanced, and accountable. So when you take a look at, and this chart we've used all over the country to explain how the system works and what is collective leadership, we take a look at the seats in the following order. We have the officers, and I want to explain here, followed on a model that we've already used, the Quebec person is an officer of the new union. Then we get to the second group, which are the regional directors. All right? Then there is the Quebec Council chair and 4 regional chairs from the rest of Canada. There are 11 industry council representatives. There are, of course, more than 11 industrial councils or sectors in our union, but we wanted to make sure that we had, for the first time around, a broad range as possible without having everybody on the executive board. It had to be functional. So not every council has a rep on the national executive board, but what the Constitution specifies is that there will be 11 rank and file reps on the national executive board representing the whole diversity of our industries and our sectors. And the three remaining positions, the three rank and file remaining positions, are the position for the retirees, the person of color, and remember that sector, that council is going to figure out its own name when they have to, and the position for the skilled trades. So, the collective team, 3 officers, 3 regional directors, rank and file national executive board. Other key leadership positions are, there is going to be a transition officer, and I'll deal with that in a minute. And of course, we have assistants in the various departments and area departments. And we're going to have a strategic planning committee. So we've got to talk about balance. And this, sisters and brothers, was a key piece that your leadership team had to work on. We needed to have a good balance first, a fair and good balance between the 2 founding unions. 200,000, 110,000, we had to have a balance. If it was just a straight up and down vote, you have to rely on goodwill. And we said, particularly the leadership of the CAW said, we don't want any of that. We want to guarantee that there is balance. And then we committed that there would be gender balance, proportionate to our membership, and I'm very proud to advise you that we exceeded significantly that commitment on gender balance. Now, on the issue of regional representation, we had to ensure that the regions across the country were fairly represented so that your voices could be heard on the National Executive Board from the outreaches of the country. Because remember, about 50% of the membership happened to live in Ontario. And we went to great lengths to make sure that the transparency and the openness of the union represented the sectoral diversity. And we wanted to make sure that there was opportunities at all levels for leaders from our equity-seeking groups, and I think you're going to see that we've done that. Now, on the issue of accountability, each category of leaders is elected in a different way, ensuring the broad accountability of the board. So, except for this convention, we're going to do it all at one, but they're going to be spread out at future conventions. So we'll have 3 officers that are elected at a convention, 3 regional directors elected at a convention with regional nominations. The Quebec regional chairs, and there's 5 regional chairs, will be elected. Industry council reps will be elected at the national, or at the NEB, upon recommendation of the NEB, will be elected at the Canada councils, and the 3 other councils, retired, skilled trades, Aboriginal workers of color, will be elected from their groups. So there will be a very strong rank and file majority on the board. 25 people, of which 19 are rank and file. So for this time only, The sector councils, the industry councils, will serve until their first meeting, so a year till the next, and then they have to resubmit. But we had to have, starting today, a full executive board. So we had to write into the Constitution provisions so that all of the spots were filled today, so that union could start, not just for legal reasons, but for practical reasons. We had to start the business of the union immediately. So the Canada Council in the future will elect all 11 of the industry councils upon recommendation of the National Board. And finally, the 3 rank and file positions, Aboriginal workers of color, skilled trades, and retirees, will be elected at their respective council meetings. So it is now important that we understand how this system is going to work. It's going to be electronic. Our first elections, the process will be as follows. We'll start with the 3 officers, then the 3 regional directors, then the 5 regional chairs, 11 industry council reps in 2 separate groups. Okay? We have to do it this time and at the next convention in 2 groups. Why? There is a commitment, a guarantee that the former CEP councils, sector councils, are guaranteed 4 spots on the National Executive Board. And that's our 4 founding sectors. And so there are going to be separate elections for those. And then after, the 3 years after the next convention, then it's wide open, and there will be no such thing as the former anything. We will be having electronic voting for these elections, secret ballot electronic voting. So we're going to individually nominate one at a time. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Mike 3.
Monsieur le Président, Alain Lambert.
Comrade.
I sang, Mr. Chair. Brother Alain Lambert, Local 23 of Unifor. I find it unfortunate that on our tables we still find a letter from Ms. Lindsay Inchelwood, National President, running for elections, and I don't have the French version, so I don't understand her biography. I'm terribly sorry. And we still have that on our tables right now. Thank you.
The sister got up and attempted to apologize for that, but it is a violation of the rules to have anything on the tables that's not bilingual. Thank you for raising that. So if I can just start again, we're going to have the elections one at a time for the 3 officers.
Mike 6.
Oh, Mike 6. Sister.
Apologize for there being no French translation. Democracy has to be available to all the rank and file, and sometimes we do not have the resources. There's many part-time workers, low-wage workers in this union, and I do apologize. It was a last-minute decision after another contestant dropped out.
Okay. The 3 regional directors will then be nominated individually, the West Ontario and Atlantic Canada. Then the Quebec Council Chair and the 4 regional council chairs will be nominated individually. Okay, hang on, you guys. We can't see you very well. Oh, Jelly. Hi.
Okay. Boutangerie, Local 2S. Just clarification in regards to the harassment statement. It wasn't read this morning. Brother Luenza made some acknowledgement of it, but didn't really read the harassment statement. As well, who are the ombudsmen for today's event?
The ombuds people for the... Well, let me find out because I don't have my notes in front of me right now. So that's a good point, Shelley, but I'll get back to you. Only thing I got in front of me right now is the election stuff, but you raised a valid point. So we're at the 11 industry council reps will be nominated, as I said, in two groups because of the unique feature of the Constitution. The CAW nominations will fill the other 7. And of course, after 2007, the full term of the industry council reps will have expired. And then finally, we're going to have the election for the 3 remaining rank and file positions. All right? Hope that's clear to everyone. Spent a lot of time working through that. Now, this is how it's going to work. In the event, and I'd like patience here, this is first time in the new union, first time we're going to have elections, we want to get it right. In the event that there is more than one candidate for any one position, I will ask each candidate if it is their intention to seek any other office. It is not their, or if it's not their intention to seek any office, we'll proceed with the election right there. And the reason we do that is because of electronic voting, we need to know. So if you're going to seek election, I am going to ask you if you're prepared to seek any other nomination, and if you are, then we'll have to carry on the nominations or the elections at the end. Otherwise, we'll start right away. If there is only one person nominated, I will ask them if they accept the nomination, and I'll declare them to be elected. When all of the elections are completed, we will swear in the executive board and the officers of Unifor, and they will assume their duties. All right? So when I swear them in, they're in. So first, I'd like to open the nominations for the position of president. Is there a nominator for the position of president? Mike 1. All right. I got Mike 1 and 6. Mike 1, please.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. My name is Rolly Kine, and I'm president of Unifor Local 112 in Toronto. I am proud to have the opportunity this afternoon to nominate Brother Jerry Dias to the position of Unifor National President.
No speeches.
Jerry is a Local 112 member and has been a friend and mentor for the last 30 years. Brother Dias is a champion for the working class, as well as a staunch advocate for those in our society that are disadvantaged and need a hand up. Again, it's without hesitation that I nominate Brother Jerry Dias to the position of Unifor National President.
Thank you. All right. Speaker on microphone 6.
Bruce Allen, Unifor 199. First of all, excusez-moi, je ne parle pas français.
I apologize that I don't speak French.
I rise to take this opportunity to nominate a sister, a militant, a class-conscious feminist for National President of Unifor, Lindsay Hinshelwood of Local 707. We have often heard the term rank-and-file leadership, a term that I feel is doublespeak. Lindsay Hinshelwood is, by contrast, one of our rank-and-file. Being from the rank-and-file, she experiences and bears daily witness to the worsening exploitation and brutalization of workers, happening as it is within the larger context of capital's global war on labor, and most clearly exemplified by both the austerity agenda and the proliferation of precarious employment. She accordingly holds the promise of bringing the perspective of a worker intimately familiar with the attacks on workers as they experience them on the shop floor and the need to fight these attacks. This means seriously fighting contract concessions. I also rise to nominate this sister because never before in this country has a major private sector union been led by a sister. This must change as an indispensable prerequisite for advancing the struggle of all workers. To conclude, the history of the international labor movement shows that sisters can effectively lead workers. There are many examples, but I will just refer to two. Mary Harris, also known as Mother Jones, and the iconic Rosa Luxemburg, who I mentioned because her life personifies what I believe in more than any other person. We can carry on the legacy of such women, and in the process strike an indispensably necessary blow against patriarchy in the labor movement with the election of Lindsay Hinshelwood as national president. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we have an election. I'll ask, is there any other nominations? Because I don't see anyone at the mics. I would ask Sister Lindsay if she'd come to the mic. Sister Lindsay, can you turn the mic on for Lindsay? Thank you. Sister, if unsuccessful, are you going to seek any other position?
No, I will not be seeking any other position except for national president.
All right. And of course, my dear, it's obvious, are you accepting this nomination?
I am accepting this nomination very proudly.
Thank you, sister. Brother Dias. What happened? He's going to drop out? All right. Can you turn the lights on, mic 1? Brother Dias, first question. If unsuccessful, are you going to drop down?
I will only be seeking the president of Unifor.
Thank you. Do you accept the nomination?
And I accept nomination for president of Unifor, and I thank my nominator for such a nomination.
All right, pull out your machines. Okay, I'll give you a couple of seconds to find them because you probably put them in your bag. Make sure you get your card in, your language right, yada, yada, yada. But I'll give you a couple of minutes. And then don't put them away. All right? Because the Constitution says secret ballot. And I would ask the tech crew, I think it's question U2. Sounds like a half-decent rock band to me. Microphone 4, yes?
I rise on a point of order. Miles McLaughlin, Local 34O. Just as a question, do the nominees not have an opportunity to speak and introduce themselves?
No, not under our current rules, and I gotta beg your indulgence because we got 25 elections to go through, and we wrestled hard at this, and we would be here forever. The sisters and brothers that are here are. What's that? Hey, look, this is a special convention. This is not regular convention we're having here. We're trying to get the business done. Mike 5.
Good afternoon, Dennis Nault, Local 341. I'm just curious, you're telling me this is a secret ballot, but according to this thing, it knows my name. So, in the back there, is it going to come up, Dennis Nault voted blank?
No. No, it does not. No, I'm absolutely guaranteed, ensured that this system is absolutely private. It does not say that on the electronic side. Mic 3.
Restaurant Local 588, Unifor. I think the sisters should have a chance to speak because Mr. Jerry Dias had an hour or half an hour yesterday at 4 o'clock to make a speech. So I think the sisters should talk. Thank you.
Microphone 4.
Shields, Local 464. Chairperson, have you made a ruling?
A ruling on what?
A ruling that we won't hear from the presidential candidates?
That's the decision of the National Executive Boards that will have nominators and elections, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, so can I make a motion or can I challenge the chair? So I'll move a motion.
Well, you don't need...
I would like to move that we hear both of the two presidential candidates.
You don't need to do that. I understand how the floor works. We'll give her 4 minutes to speak. I understand how democracy works. I get the sense of the floor. Get the sister to a mic and she can make her presentation. Oh, sorry, mic 5.
Oh, that was Eunice Pandor, President, CEP Local 554. That was my question, that for an important position of the President, we don't know either of the candidates, so as long as we hear from them what they stand for, how can we decide who to vote for?
That's why I didn't take very much to cave here, so can step up to the mic and make sure the light's on you, and there you go, sister.
Well, I'm Lindsay Hinshelwood, and I just turned 50 this year. So when you turn 50, one of the things you're really thinking about is retiring. And now I'm wondering, am I going to have a pension when I turn 65? Because when I turn 65, I've got to make the decision, do I work 2 years on a limited budget until I'm 67 and I can qualify for old age security? I don't know what's going to happen to me, because as the baby boomers are replaced, they're going to be replaced by low-waged, part-time workers. And we've negotiated those workers in our union. We say we're going to protect them and that we're going to fight for better wages and benefits and pensions, and then we sell the new hires out. We've sold the youth out in this country with concessions, and concessions are not the solution. We need policies. We need protectionism, or very soon we're going to be following in the footsteps of all the declining economies in the world. And I've lived in one of those economies. When I was young, in my 20s, I was very adventurous, and I traveled to the UK, and I worked in Scotland and England under Margaret Thatcher. And I saw what Thatcherism did to a country. Millions lost their jobs. Thousands lost their homes. Millions were murdered by thousands by Margaret Thatcher, because she created the conditions which caused disasters like Hillsborough. And that is the same as the Quebec train explosion, which destroyed a town, an act of terrorism by the government and the greedy corporations. And one of the symptoms of a declining economy is the youth, the poor, the unemployed, the disabled, the indigenous have no society. And we should not be fighting to compete for lower wages, but we should be building society. Canada should be the best society in the world. And now we're on the verge of being the most frightful economy in the Western world. We were once the highest standard of living for working people, and it's frightful what is happening to us, and we need to stop it now. Not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, now.
We already adopted the 5 years.
Thank you, sister. Brother Dias. They can reset the clock for me. You have 5 minutes as well? Don't want you to use it, though. No, she had 5 set too. I just misspoke. The rules this morning said 5 minutes each. Brother Dias.
My name is Jerry Dias, and I am a rank-and-file trade union leader. And I've worked my way up from the shop floor, worked very closely with the shop floor leadership, the shop floor activists, and most importantly with the rank and file on the shop floor. And we talk, and people talk about how they have the ability to take on corporations. Well, the reality, brothers and sisters, is I've been in the trench for years. And I have, with the leadership, worked closely with the leadership and the membership, have had the honor of taking on some of the toughest corporations in the world. And in order for us to be successful, brothers and sisters, it can't just be about rhetoric, it has to be about action. To lead Unifor, we need a leader with a proven track record. We need somebody that's not afraid to lead. We need somebody that has a vision. We need somebody that has the ability not only to take on the corporations, but has the ability to look Stephen Harper and his government in the eye and say, we've had enough of your crap for the years, and we're going to take back over this country.
Hugo Chabot.
There are some people who are always the last to the rally. But in our organization, in our leadership time, we'll be the first to the rally and the first through the front door in order to win justice for our members. We'll never take a back seat, and that's what Unifor is going to be about, brothers and sisters. And if I'm elected, I'll have a lot more to say in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
All right, the nominations are closed. We have 2 candidates. Can I, well, first, is everybody, their machine's working? If there's somebody that's got a machine that's screwed up, let us know now. You got a couple of seconds so we can send a techie to you. Nope. Put on the screen, please. Question U2. All right? Everybody see the question? All right. Push 1 for Jerry, 2 for Lindsay. The vote is open. I'll leave the vote open until I fix those couple of machines. Leave the vote open, please. We got one brother over here with a cropped out machine, so they're fixing it. Give me the signal when you're done there. Where?
Not at a mic. Not at a mic. Right there. Your hands up. Not at a mic.
No, it's about getting the machines fixed. Okay, the technicians, there's a sister here that's got a bummed out machine. Okay, on my left side in the back, we have a sister with a bummed out machine. Right at the back there, bro. Somebody get to her and help her out. All right, we're doing okay on that side, this side. I got one sister left that's good. Oh, hang on. We didn't. That's my fault. There's a couple over here, guys. That way. That way, guy. That way. That way. Right against him. Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up with your crapped out machine. Okay, everybody okay? All right. No? Okay, somebody's yelling no. Get over there and fix the damn thing. Please. This is my first election. Don't screw it up. It'll be my last. Oh, I'm not running. I forgot. Okay, look, if you have an issue, please stand up. I can't see your skinny arms from here. There seems to be a problem on that side. How come the problem is on the left and not on the right?
Who's left?
Oh yeah, who's left? Okay. Come on, guys, fix it. We're working on it. You're not working fast enough. Okay.
Back corner.
In the back corner on my left. Okay. Oh, brother, Mike 4.
Hi. I'd like to have a question. All my machine says is it's sent. The guy beside me, his says it's been valid. It says sent, and then it's supposed to say valid. And this doesn't say valid.
Well, I've got a techie to help you there, man. I can't fix it from here.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you guys are trying to make me nervous. Come on. Somebody go help this guy. And there's one sister that is standing up, waving away. Oh, Lord. Okay, where's the telev guys? We got a bro here in the blue shirt. Get over there. Somebody help him. Quick. Here they come. They're now tag teaming you. 3-on-1. Oh, 4-on-1. All right. This is the price of democracy. There's no hanging chads at our convention. Everybody gets to vote, period. Well, that's not true. They won't give me a vote. Okay, I don't see anybody else standing. Well, other than Brother Luenza. And it's really hard to get him to sit down. Oh, hang on. Okay. I want 5-on-1 this time. Somebody come and fix this brother's stuff now, please. Here. Okay. What's that? Uh-oh, they're taking the brother away. Uh-oh.
The issue with the one person was he was registered as two people, like as a rank and file and as a delegate too. So we're trying to fix that right now.
Oh, I see. He's registered as two people. Oh, ha-ha. One is a delegate and one is a rank and file board member. How long are you going to take you? 1 minute. Is he fixed yet? Come on. How can you be registered as two people? Lord help you. I got to tell you, for those that are in the CE or were in the CEP, this is a lot better than the way we did it. we'd be there for hours. So it actually wasn't the brother's fault. He got registered as a rank and file delegate and as a local union delegate. So they had to fix his SIM card. Okay, you okay, bro? We're good to go. Have you voted yet? You have. Oh, wait a minute, I got one person waving away here. Okay, wait a minute. What's going on over here? Do we have a problem on the left here? Go. Mic 1, please turn the lights on.
The problem I have is that the card I've got no longer works. Won't work at any machine, just comes up invalid. And they're telling me they can't make me another card. I don't know if there's a fix to that or what.
Well, they're all running over to you now, bro. You got their attention. Is this how you get attention? Everybody's running. Uh-oh. It'll only take, we figured this out, it'll take about 30 seconds to reset the guy's SIM card. Hurry up. Well, if you want to have a secret ballot vote, which the Constitution calls for, it'll take a little while to run the first test on elections. We're doing that. So what did you do to your SIM card, man?
This could be decided by one vote.
Oh, of course you get a right to vote. Oh, Mike 4.
Yeah, I voted, and it said valid. While I was sitting here waiting for to get everything straightened out with these other cards, it then said vote open.
Yeah, it is open.
So hang on. So then I voted again. Does that count as 2?
No.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Won't work. It doesn't go through the computer. That we know for sure. Only I get to count ballots twice, right? Where did the brother go? He took him in a room and he never come back out again. He's good. Have you voted, brother? Okay. Close the ballot. And you can tell me later what you did to screw it up. All right? Would you please post the results? Okay, the position of president is important, but there's 24 others that are important as well. I'd like, microphone 6.
To congratulate Brother Jerry, and I hope he takes that nearly 20% vote in support of change to truly make change in this union.
Thank you, sister. And thank you for putting your name forward. That is what they call democracy. The next position that is open is the position of Secretary-Treasurer of this great new union, Unifor. Is there a nominee for Secretary-Treasurer? Microphone 5.
Hi, my name is Jim Wilkes. I'm Financial Secretary at Local 27.
and it's truly a privilege for me to be able to put forward the name of a brother from my local, Peter Kennedy. I've known Peter since pretty much the very first day I walked into our local in 1980. Over that time, I've always been amazed by his work ethic and his leadership. I've watched him rise through the ranks of our local and through our union, and it's that very leadership that he's always provided that was key in bringing us to where we are today. And again, it's quite a privilege for me to put forward the name of a true friend of mine, Peter Kennedy.
Great, thank you very much. Is there any further nominations for the position of Secretary-Treasurer? For the second time. Any further nominations? For the third and final time? There's no nominations. I declare that the nominations are closed for Secretary-Treasurer. Brother Kennedy. Mike 2, do you accept the nomination for Secretary-Treasurer of the great union, Unifor?
It is with great humility and honor and thanks to my nominator, my local union, and this truly wonderful assembled body here today that I accept the nomination for Secretary-Treasurer of Unifor. Thank you very much, sisters and brothers.
I now declare you elected Secretary-Treasurer of Unifor. Sister in Mike 6.
J'attends la prochaine candidature.
I'm waiting for the next nomination.
I got to throw these ones away. I dumped water all over them. All right. There is a third officer position now open. I would like to open nominations for the Quebec Director. Microphone 6.
Arrête de rire.
Stop laughing. Justine Martin, section Local 8284. I'm very pleased to nominate Michel Ouimet for the position of Quebec Director. A number of you didn't really know Michel, but I've known him for 30 years. Ha ha ha. I'd just like to take a moment to describe him. When I started writing my speech, I asked myself, when you think of Michel, what comes to mind? And the first words were integrity and trust. Michel is a man you can trust. He always does as much as he can. He's accessible. He listens, and it's always a pleasure to get to know you. At the women's conference, I was called Tante Jasmine, Auntie Jasmine. So maybe I'll say a little poem for Michel. Dear Michel, you were my chair for a while before you went on staff. You decided to change our destinies and to get elected as a VP. Fearlessly, you bring people together. It wasn't always fun, but you always accomplish things. You're no martyr, far from it, but you have faith, and that's why you will be an excellent Quebec director. Unfortunately, it doesn't rhyme in English.
Is there any further nominations for the position of Officer Quebec Director? For the second time, any further nominations? For the third and final time, I declare the nominations closed for Quebec Director. Brother Ouimet, where are you? Microphone 3.
Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Chairperson, I accept the nomination. With great privilege and honor, I'll be representing all the members of Unifor Quebec.
You elected Director Quebec. All right, the next position open is the Director for Atlantic Canada. Is there any nominations for the position of Director Atlantic Canada Region? Microphone 2.
Earl McCurdy, FFAW. I'm very proud to place in nomination the name of an outstanding trade unionist, staunch feminist, terrific mom, great friend, networker extraordinaire, and a wonderful human being, Lana Payne, for the position of Atlantic Director.
All right. Is there any other nominations for the position of Director Atlantic Canada? Second time. Third and final time. I declare nominations closed. Sister Payne, to the mics. Do you accept the position of Director for Atlantic Canada?
Yes, with thanks to my nominator and my dear brother and friend Earl, to my family who's here today, and to all the sisters and brothers who've made a huge difference in my life. I accept because this is about more than creating a union. It's an act of hope and solidarity that we can build a better world for every Canadian. Thank you.
Atlantic Payne, I declare you elected. All right, the next position open is the Ontario Regional Director. Is there any nominations for the position of Ontario Regional Director? Microphone 6, way over there. Hi.
Good afternoon. Carrie Jefford, Unifor Local President, Local 229. Sisters and brothers, today we will elect the leadership team who will set the course that will define our new union in the eyes of not only the labor movement, but in the eyes of our country. We need to support and elect diverse leaders who have the experience and proven ability to best represent and advance the goals of the members of our union. As CEW Director of Healthcare, Sister Catha Forte has improved the terms of working conditions of healthcare workers across the country, and in doing so has improved the lives of Canadians accessing healthcare in our hospitals, our long-term care facilities, and in our communities. Since Catha's days as a steward and as an incredible top leader of Local 229 in Thunder Bay in northwestern Ontario, she has worked tirelessly with passion, with commitment, and with dedication in the best interests of our members. It gives me great pleasure as President of Local 229 to rise and nominate my sister, Catha Forte, for the position of Director of Ontario as part of our inaugural leadership team, Unifor Canada.
Thank you. For the second time, is there any nominations for the Ontario Regional Director? For the third and final time, is there any nominations, other nominations, for the position of Ontario Regional Director? Having seen no one at the mics, I declare the nominations are closed. Sister Katha, go to the mic, wherever you are. Mic one.
Thank you, brother.
Do you accept the nomination?
It's an honor and a privilege. I accept this nomination with great thanks to my nominator and to my local union, Unifor, Local 229. Thank you.
I declare you elected. The next election is for the Western Region Director. Is there any nominations? Speaker on mic 5.
Thank you, Dave. Ian Simpson from Local 1123 in Campbell River. I'm extremely honored and proud to put forward the name of Scott Doherty for the Western Region Director. I've known Scott since the last century. We had a shortage of executive in our local. We managed to get several people to come forward, but one stood out like none of the others. It was Scott. He had the enthusiasm with a little bit of education and encouragement. He continued to move up through our executive, and it wasn't long before he became president of our local. He was our leader. Unfortunately, downsizing took Scott away from us, but that didn't stop him. He moved on to become a representative for the CEP, and he continued to help workers and help us build our union. So it's with great pleasure that I ask you to support Scott Doherty for the position of Western Director. Thank you.
Great, thank you. For the second time, is there any nominations for the position of Western Region Director? For the third and final time, is there any further nominations for the position of Director for the Western Region? No, I declare nominations closed. Brother Doherty. Microphone 5. Do you accept the nomination as the Western Regional Director?
Yes, with thanks to my nominator, my local 1123, and all of the 300,000 strong Unifor members, I proudly accept.
I declare you elected, Scott Doherty. The next nomination is for the chairperson of the Quebec Council. Is there any nominations for the chairperson of the Quebec Council?
Like one.
Nope.
Nope.
Microphone 3.
Bonjour, Benoît Lapointe.
Good day, Benoît Lapointe, 2002 Unifor. It's with great pride that I'd like to nominate Marcel Rondeau to the position of President of the Quebec Council. Marcel is a personal friend of mine. I've known him since 1989, and he's been involved since that time. For those who don't know him, he's extremely passionate. He works with a great deal of detail, and he always aims for equity for all. He's extremely passionate. He moves the union cause ahead, and he's always extremely available. He's been president of our Quebec Council for a number of years already, and I hope that I'll keep him as a friend for a long, long time, and as a member of this wonderful organization that Unifor will be. Thank you.
Are there, for the second time, Any further nominations for the chairperson of the Quebec Council? For the third and final time, is there any further nominations for the chairperson of the Quebec Council? Seeing none, I declare nominations closed. Marcel, where are you? There he is. Microphone 3, Brother Marcel, do you accept the nomination?
Brother Chair, it's with a great deal of humility and with a great deal of pride and honor that I accept this nomination as the President of the Quebec Council for Unifor. I would like to thank my very good friend Benoit Lapointe, the President of my local, Jimmy Ross, the delegates from my local 2002, as well as all the Quebec delegates. Thank you, and I'm very anxious to work with everybody. Thank you.
Elected. All right. The next election is for the chairperson of the Atlantic Council. Is there any nominations for the chairperson of Atlantic Council? Microphone 1.
Thank you, Brother Dave. I'm Archie McLaughlin, representing Local 972, Unifor, Atlantic region. I'm very proud and honored to place the name forward of Penny Fawcett for Atlantic Chair. Penny has been employed with Bell Alliant for 23 years and has been deeply involved in the labor movement during those 23 years. I know Penny as a tough labor representative, and she will represent the views and the concerns of all of Atlantic Canada. I'm again nominate Penny Fawcett for Atlantic Chair.
Thank you. All right, for the second time, is there any nominations for the position of chairperson of the Atlantic Council? For the third and final time, is there any nominations for the position of chairperson of the Atlantic Council? Having seen none, I declare nominations closed. Sister Penny. Sister Penny, do you accept the nomination for chairperson of Atlantic Council?
Thank you, Brother Dave, and I'd like to thank the CEP National Executive Board for putting my name forward. I'd like to thank Archie McLaughlin and all the support I've ever gotten from 972 in Nova Scotia, and I absolutely accept nomination. Thank you.
I therefore declare Penny Fawcett elected chairperson of Atlantic Canada. The next election, chairperson of the Ontario Council. Is there any nominations for the position of chairperson of the Ontario Council? Speaker on microphone 6.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mike Loverick, Vice President of Local 444 in Windsor. I'm honored here today on this founding convention to nominate a person that is fully deserving of this. He's worked through the ranks by being elected first as the steward and now as the president of Local 444. He is also the president of Windsor District Labor Council. He is sought after out of all union affiliates because he is a dynamic young speaker. He is also the chairperson of Chrysler Master Bargaining Committee, which went through hard bargaining last 2012. I'll nominate Dino Chiodo, President of Local 444. Thank you.
All right. For the second time, is there any further nominations for the chairperson of the Ontario Council? For the third and final time, is there any nominations for the chairperson of the Ontario Council? Having seen none, I declare nominations closed. Brother Kyoto, do you accept the nomination? Mike Six.
Thank you, Brother Chair. With thanks to my nominator, colleague, and friend, with the support of Unifor Local 444, both active and retired here today, with the pride and indulgence of every one of the delegates in this room, I accept the nominations and look forward to fighting for a better Canada. Thank you very much.
I thereby declare you elected. All right. Chairperson of the Prairie Council is the next election. Is there a nomination for chairperson of the Prairie Council? Oh, sorry. No short jokes, right? 6. Microphone 6, please.
Not short, vertically challenged, Dave. Jennifer Britton, Unifor Local 1S. I am absolutely honored to stand in front of all of you today and nominate my good friend, my sister, my femtor, Christy Best, President of Unifor Local 649. Sister Best is a longtime activist, a longtime feminist, and she is a true example that women, sisters in our movement make a difference in our workplaces and our unions. She is the first female president of one of Saskatchewan's largest energy locals. She is not afraid to ask the tough questions, but she'll also roll up her sleeves and work with all of us for the solutions. So I ask you all to support Sister Christy Best. Thank you.
Thank you. For the second time, is there any further nominations for the chairperson for the Prairie Council? For the third and final time, is there any further nominations for the chairperson of the Prairie Council? Having seen none, I declare nominations closed. Sister Best. Microphone 6, please. Do you accept the nomination for chairperson, Prairie Council?
Thanks to my nominator, I am honored and humbled that I have been put forth to represent the prairies, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, and I will be a huge voice and activist for all that we are for. I accept.
I therefore declare you elected. I now open the position of chairperson for the BC Council. Is there any nominations? Microphone 1.
Gary Engler, Local 2000 from British Columbia. I'm very, very proud to nominate Sister Andrea McBride, someone who I've known, worked with as a steward on the local executive, now on the national executive of CEP. But what I think most impressed me over these 20 years was the time where Andrea had to go to Kennedy Heights, which is our printing plant, after a very kind of divisive and emotional series of events, and stand up for the union and stand up for women against a very hostile environment. And she did it with both courage, conviction, and she's exactly the kind of person we need on the national executive. I'm proud to nominate Sister Andrea McBride.
Thank you. For the second time, any further nominations for the chairperson of the BC Council? For the third and final time, is there any further nominations for the BC Council? Seeing none, I declare the nominations closed. Sister McBride, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do accept the nomination with great thanks to my brother Gary Engler. That was wonderful things that he said, maybe true, but nonetheless, I appreciate all of that, and I look forward to representing not just British Columbia, but in reality, all of the members of Unifor on our new National Executive Board. Thank you.
I therefore declare you elected. All right, now we're going to move into the elections of the two blocks from the industry councils, and we'll start with the CEP blocks, and we're going to start with nominations for, excuse me. I got to make sure I get this in the right order here. So the first one will be the Communications Council. Yep, there's four as a group, so we're going to get them nominated one at a time. Right, four, is there a nomination for the Communications Industry Council? Six. Microphone 6.
Bonjour.
Hello, Jean-Stéphane Maillet, Local President 6001, Unifor, obviously. I'm here today to nominate a friend, a person with a work ethic that is unbelievable, a dedicated worker, always the first in at the office, always prepared to help everyone around him. Oh, thank you, you good man. But mainly an incredible human being with a huge, huge heart. It's an honor for me to present to you Marc Rousseau and to nominate him to the position of Communications Sector Representative.
Are there any nominations? Microphone 3, please. Brother?
Régent Boisvert, Local 227. It's with a great deal of pleasure and with honor on behalf of my Local 227 that I nominate my local president, Brother Jean-Pierre Lafont. Thank you.
Well, you're doing them all as a block. Yep. All right, next is media. These are the CEP nominations. Microphone 6.
Thank you, Paul Morse, President of Local 87M. Sisters and brothers, as you look around you at this historic meeting, chances are your gaze will fall on a media worker because there are 15,000 of us, and this part of it blows my mind, in this new 300,000 super union. We are printers, graphical workers, journalists, broadcast, radio, newspaper, and magazine experts, House of Commons workers, AV technicians, and many more. Leading us in council is a young man who has some very, very big shoes to fill. But he embodies the very commitment and the passion that all of us will need to achieve the lofty goals that we have set for ourselves at this founding convention. It is my absolute pleasure to nominate for the Media Industry Council representative, Brother Randy Kitt.
Great, thank you. The last and final CEP position for nomination is Energy. Oh, other side. Mike 1.
Thank you, Chair. Roland Lafort, Colorado 4, Local 707A. And it's my great pleasure and privilege to nominate a person to the energy sector that's no stranger to the energy sector, Sister Angela Adams.
Great, thank you very much. Microphone 3.
Hello, Monica Rapkovich, formerly CAW, now Unifor. I was just a question, point of information, I guess. I was just wondering, is it a usual thing just to go with all these chapters or nominations? Aren't they supposed to accept a nomination in between or something? I don't know if, like with all the positions, we went one by one, and now we have all these groups of nominations going on one after the other. What if somebody of those nominees would not accept their nomination for that position or something like that? Is it normal that it's all regrouped into one batch?
They're going to get asked now, because these are blocks of, and this is the only time we'll ever do that. This is because it's the founding convention, and these were part of the conditions of our unity team. They will be asked if they accept the nominations.
Thank you.
It's a good question. I therefore ask if there's any further nominations for those 4 positions. Any further nominations? Can I ask, so I declare nominations closed. And can I ask Jim Stanford to get his butt back up here, please, for a sec? All right, I declare the nominations closed for the 4 industry council pieces. And would the people that have been nominated please go to the mics? So I've got to ask you a question here. This thing is completely out of the All right, I'll start with microphone 1. Randy, Brother Kitt, do you accept the nomination?
With thanks to Paul Morse, my nominator, my local, and all media workers, I accept my nomination. Thank you.
You'll get a chance to cheer in a minute. We got to get the acceptance of nominations. Microphone 3.
Oui, j'accepte.
Yes, I accept the nomination. And I would like to thank the person who nominated me and members of my local. I also would like to thank the locals in the forestry sector for having entrusted me with this.
And the energy sector, I accept.
Microphone 6.
Bonjour, merci à mon ami.
Thank you to my friend Jean-Stéphane and my chair at 6001. It's with pleasure and it's a great honor that I accept this nomination.
Elected.
Okay. So I'll check them off as elected? Well, all we're going to do is take the separate, right? You open it for the group of separate.
Yeah, but do I ask from the sectors or just... No.
7 nominations from the CAW sector.
All right, this is different now. You know, they're always trying to... I'll let all the hugging and kissing take place here first. So, because this is the founding convention, the rules were different for the 4 CEP spots than they are for the 7 former CAW spots. So I am opening the floor for nominations for 7 industrial council spots in any order. So get to the mics, the 7 of you, and then I'll see if there's others that would like to be nominated. All right? I'm talking about the nominators. The nominators. So we start with microphone 1.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Scott, chairperson of Local 707 Unifor. I stand here today with great pride to nominate my friend, my president of Ford Council, and current CAW National Executive Board member, Brother Gary Beck.
Thank you. We're just going to go around the room here. Microphone 4.
Ken Hyatt, President, Local 100 Rail. I nominate Sister Heather Grant for the NEB position of transportation. Heather has worked in the transportation sector for many years, representing members at Via Rail.
Thank you. Microphone 2.
David Decker, FFAW. About 22 years ago, we went through what was then the largest layoff in Canadian history. It is an event that seared in the consciousness of anybody who was in Newfoundland who was old enough at the time to remember, and I certainly was. It was a time of incredible challenges, both for our members and for the coastal communities that were most dramatically affected by that event. The union not only survived that event, but I believe in terms of stronger today than it was at that time. And leading us through the last 20 years of that has been our president, Earl McCurdy, and it's my privilege to stand here today and nominate him as the NEB representative for the resource sector.
Thank you. Microphone 5.
Hi, good afternoon. Gord Curry, Vice President, Local 414, Unifor. At this time, I'd like to put forward a name for the NEB position in the retail sector of Sister Christine Connor. I've known Christine for 25 years now. I've seen her grow in the union. She's been my president for 4 terms now. And I believe that going forward, she'll be the right person to push forward the issues in the retail. And once again, I would like to put forward the name of Sister Christine Connor. And I'd just like to say that right now at this time, she's got her mom, Shirley, sitting with her Aunt Bev, and her daughter, Shauna, who are awfully proud right now. So thank you very much.
I bet they are. Can I now go to microphone 3? Sister.
Lisa Tucker, Vice President of Local 302. Our local is made up of approximately 5,500 members.
Sister, can you speak into the mic so everybody can hear you?
Probably not. I'm Lisa Tucker, Vice President of Local 302. Our local is made up of approximately 5,500 members, covering healthcare, school boards, and 1 hotel. I stand before you today to nominate a sister that is not only our president, but a friend to represent healthcare on the National Executive Board, Sister Nancy McMurphy. As our union takes a bold step into the future, we need the continued leadership that has guided our membership through the changing times. Nancy has shown that leadership through her commitment and passion, as well as the belief that all workers, whether unionized or not, need protection. It is my honor to once again put forward the name of my good friend and colleague, Sister Nancy McMurphy, to represent healthcare on the National Executive Board.
All right, microphone 6, Sister.
Jamie Ross, President, Unifor 2002 Airlines. It is with great pride and honor that I rise to nominate Cheryl Robinson for the position of Industry Council Representative, Service Sector, in a room full of leaders and activists Cheryl Robinson stands out in every aspect. Her knowledge, experience, and dedication to her members, her community, her local, her union, and the whole labor movement is inspirational. She is a single mother, a woman's advocate, a union discussion leader. Time restraints don't allow me to list all the incredible things she has accomplished and the many, many roles she has not only taken on, but excelled at, just as she will excel at this one. Cheryl Robinson lives it, breathes it, walks the walk, and is truly the real deal. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Speaker on microphone 1.
Thank you. Scott McEmoyle, Financial Secretary, Unifor Local 112, Toronto. It's with great pleasure that I put forth the name today of my local union president, Brother Rolly Kine, to continue his hard work and dedication on the National Executive Board, representing all of us in manufacturing for our new union. Thank you.
Thank you. For the second time, is there any further nominations for the Industry Council spots for the former CAW? For the third and final time, is there any further nominations? Seeing none, I declare nominations closed. Would the 7 candidates please go to the mics? I'm going to do the other way around. I'm waiting for somebody to get to mic 6. Get there. We're going to go to the other side of the hall. Somebody's left but my right. Microphone 3, do you accept the nomination? Please give your name and then tell me whether you accept the nomination.
Nancy McMurphy, and it's with great honor that I accept the nomination with thanks to my nominator and very dear friend, Sister Lisa Tucker, the convention delegates, and the support of my local.
Thank you. Microphone 6.
Hi. Sorry, you'll have to excuse my voice. I shouted a little bit much yesterday, I think. With great thanks to my nominator, to my local union, and to the delegates here at convention, I accept the nomination, and I promise absolutely to do my very best going forward representing the members of Unifor as we fight back against the Harbour attack and as we take our country back. Thank you.
Thank you. Microphone 2.
Earl McCurdy, and I'm very proud and excited to be part of this giant step forward for the labour movement in Canada. Heads up, Harper, here comes Unifor. I've worn the CAW colours with pride for a long time, and I'll wear the Unifor red with equal pride from this day forward, and I hereby accept, with thanks to my nominator, the nomination for that position.
Thank you. Sister on microphone 5.
Christine Connor, and it is a great privilege and an honor, and I thank my nominator, my family, my local union of over 12,000 members in the retail sector. I'm looking forward to moving forward with this great union, Unifor. I accept.
Great, thank you. Microphone 1.
Gary Beck, it is with great pride that I accept the nomination, with special thanks to my nominator and good friend, Bob Scott, and my local union, and I look forward to working under the leadership of Jerry Diaz and Peter Kennedy moving forward.
Great, thank you. Sister, microphone 3.
Hi, it's Heather Grant. Thank you very much to my nominator, Ken Hyatt, and my local union, National Council 4000. And of course, I accept with great humility and pride and look forward to the challenges that we're all going to face in the next 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, sister. Microphone 1.
Rolly Kine, obviously I accept the nomination, and I thank not only my nominator, but the activists and leadership in my great local union, my family obviously, and I look forward to working with all of the delegates in this room. I look forward to those watching at home on live stream, And indeed, I look forward to working with the 300,000 members from coast to coast in making the manufacturing sector relevant in Canada again, so I accept the nomination, sisters and brothers.
No, the whole board, but I'm going to bring the president up to put him in. I therefore declare you all elected. Thank you very much. All right, we have 3 more to go. I would like to open the floor for nominations for the racialized workers position, please. The floor is open. Racialized and indigenous workers position. Mike 3.
My name is Bill McLaughlin. I'm the president of Unifor Local 1106. And it's my honor and privilege to nominate from a sister from my local. I've known her for about 14 years. I met her as a chairperson in her workplace, and since that time she has served a 1-year term in her, or 3-year term in her local as a trustee, and is on a second term as vice president of our local. And I want Sister Schroeder to say a word.
Sharita Bowers, Local 1106, and with that said, I'd like to nominate Sister Ruth Price.
Well, that was tricky. Is there any further nominations for the position of racialized and indigenous workers position? For the 3rd and final time, any further nominations? I declare nominations closed. Sister, go to the mic. Sister, on microphone 3, do you accept the nomination?
I accept, and thanks to my nominators. And with great pleasure, I'm thanking all the delegates at this new Unifor to nominate me and to represent workers of color and Aboriginal. And I will be doing my best to make sure that we do have a voice in this new union. Thank you.
All right, the next nomination is for the position of retired workers representative. I open the floor for nominations. Looks like 5. Microphone 5.
It is with great pleasure that I have today the honor of nominating a friend of mine for over 35 years. I've watched him help workers when they're in political fights. I've watched him train people. I watched him work for retired workers to build up a program and many programs to try and help retired workers of our union and the general community. It's with great pleasure I nominate Len Harrison, a member of the UAW-CAW for over 48 years. Len is the 15th year as being chair of the retired workers of the CAW, now Unifor. Once again, it gives me great pleasure to nominate Len Harrison.
Great, thank you very much. Is there any further nominations for the position of retired representative? Is there any further Is there any further nominations for the position of retirees? Having said that, I declare, no, not microphone 4. I declare nominations closed. Would the nominee please go to a mic? Microphone 4.
Thank you very much. I accept the nomination. I like my friend, good friend Len Hope for nominating me. And I think our sisters and brothers, we're all in Unifor now, but they're going to find it very exciting to belong to a union that looks after its retired workers, that puts them in good positions. And we'll go through that together. That allows you, our retired workers are there when a lot of our active workers can't be there. We're on the picket lines, we're fighting for health care, we're demonstrating during the week, and we belong to all the organizations there are in Canada that represent retired workers. I'm so proud of that, and you will be proud of it too. And I know you understand that this isn't my own words, but you understand what's happened this weekend. And what a great Englishman once said was, this isn't the end. This isn't even the beginning of the end. This is just the end of the beginning.
I declare you elected. Before I go on to the next order of business, I'd like Brother President Baskin, Payne, and Pomeroy to please come up on the stage. All right, we have one more piece of work before I swear in the new board. Oh, sorry, Dave. Whoa. I still have to do skilled trades. Mind you, I was a production worker, and well, never mind. I open the floor for the position of the representative from skilled trades. Microphone 6.
Thank you, Brother Chair. My name is Joe Elworthy. I'm the president of Local 2200, Vancouver Transit Workers. I'm also the financial secretary to our great Unifor Skilled Trades Council, and it is for that position that I'm here to nominate my good brother, friend and colleague, David Cassidy, who is our current chair for our Skilled Trades Council. David is also, of course, the financial secretary for his own local union, Unifor, I've got to get this right, Unifor 444 in Windsor. David and our Skilled Trades Council in general do a tremendous amount of work, and we're hoping that the influx of the numerous skilled trades workers coming into our Unifor Skilled Trades Council is going to even increase the dynamic work that we do. And it's not just work for skilled trades that David has been involved in and our council. We do charitable works with our Bob Chernicki Charity of Choice, with our work for Katrina, for the disaster reliefs, with work for the First Nations, with work for the help the less off people in every community that we travel to. David Cassidy will be a leader on our new Unifor Executive Board, representing not just skilled trades workers, but all of our Unifor workers in this great movement. As we move forward on a day like this, it is a great pleasure for me to nominate Brother David Cassidy as our Unifor Skilled Trade National Executive Board member.
Thank you. All right, for the second time, is there any further nominations for the position of the representative for the skilled trades? For the third and final time, is there any further nominations for the position of representative of the skilled trades? Seeing none, I declare the nominations are closed. Brother Cassidy.
Yes, Brother Chair.
Would you like to accept the nomination for the position of representative of the skilled trades?
Yes, Brother Chair, I do, and I can tell why CEP has not had that Skilled Trades Council, because you forget about them. But moving forward, I'm really looking forward to engaging with the former CEP members and bringing the Skilled Trades Council into the former CEP. And I'd like to thank my local union, and I'd like to thank the skilled trades from coast to coast that I've represented on the board for the last 5 years. And last but not least, my nominator, the financial secretary of the council, Brother Joe Elworthy. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I declare you elected. All right, before I call the board up, we have one more piece of business that will only take place at the founding convention, and I'd like you to just take a quick look in your kits, and please refer to the resolution on the transition officer. Is there a mover to that resolution? I gotta wait till David quits having his party over there. All right, it's been properly moved. Is there a seconder to that resolution? All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. I'm going to read out that resolution so there's a clear understanding of what we have structured into the Constitution for the first time, for the first convention. The creation of Unifor as a unified, cohesive union through the consultation of the CAW and the CEP will require unprecedented attention to internal organization and a cohesive, and whereas the implementation of the working group recommendations and a 3-year transition period by the end of which the office's operational systems, technology, and staffing of Unifor would be fully integrated and harmonized, and whereas the transition will require direct participation of senior leaders from both founding unions to oversee their full and successful integration, and be it further resolved, a position titled Transition Officer will be created to determine, to the dedicating attention, who will then dedicate their attention to the transition and integration of the new union. This position will exist for a single 3-year term from the founding of Unifor through to the next convention, which is in 2016, after which this position will cease to exist. The transition officer will work under the direction of the National Secretary-Treasurer, and be it further resolved, the transition officer will participate in the work of the senior leadership team of Unifor, including the Strategic Planning Committee, and be it further resolved that the transition officer will be attending meetings of the National Executive Board with voice but no vote, and be it further resolved that this convention ratifies the appointment of Brother Gaetan Menard to serve as a transition officer. So moved. All right. Show of hands. We don't have to use the machine, right? Show of hands. All those in favor, raise your hands, please. Down hands. Opposed of any? The motion has passed unanimously. Microphone 3.
Thank you, Brother Coles. Just to say thank you to the convention floor, je suis honoré que cette résolution...
I'm honored that this resolution was carried. It's going to be an honor for me to work with Brother Kennedy over the next few years. We have a huge amount of work to do. In 2015, we want to throw Harper out, and then we have to continue to improve working conditions and living conditions for our brothers and sisters in our shops and our communities. And I will work with the whole team at the head table, and I thank you.
All right. Can I ask all of the elected officers and board members to please come up on the stage along with the transition officer, and I'll swear at you. Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. You need an agenda. Right there. We're going right to Naomi afterwards.
All right, brother.
That's got to be first day before her.
So then what, should I do my keynote address first thing in the morning?
No.
Merge your votes, put you on, and get my own run.
Otherwise, she doesn't want it. Okay, where's, can I get the help of the other presidents up here? Come on up. Brian, we're going to stand here and swear at these guys.
So just stand next to me, Robert. We're going to swear this new leadership team in, and then we're going to get the help to the golf course. Come on.
So is everybody up? Do we get them all? Everybody's up? All right. Can we get everybody to stand? No, well, those, yeah, okay. I really would like you to give attention while I read you all the obligation. Do you pledge on your honor to perform the duties of your prospective offices as required by the Constitution of the Union and to bear true and faithful allegiance to Unifor? Do you pledge to promote a harassment and discrimination-free environment and work to ensure human rights of all members are respected? Do you pledge to support, advance, and carry out all official policies of the Union and to work tirelessly to advance and build the membership of our Union? And do you pledge to deliver all books, papers, and other properties of the Union that may be in your possession at the end of your term to your successor and officer, and at all times conduct yourself as becomes a member of the Union? Your response is, I do. Ken?
You might notice who these four wonderful people are, but they're former national presidents of both organizations, and they're here as honorary guests to swear in our new National Executive Board. Are you ready, team? Your responsibilities are defined in the bylaws and Constitution and policies of Unifor. Should any emergency arise, not provided for in these, you are expected to act according to the dictates of common sense, guided by an earnest desire to advance the best interest of the Union. I trust you will all faithfully perform your duties that you may gain the esteem of your brothers and sisters, and the approval of your conscience. You will now assume your respective offices, and all of the delegates wish you nothing but success as you build this great union on behalf of 300 members in this country and beyond that. Congratulations to all of you.
Unifor! Now, before I turn the chair over to the new president of Unifor, there is a long-standing tradition in the First Nations cultures of Canada and Quebec. There's no such thing as a gavel. That belongs to the legal system. But what the First Nations do is they pass on the right to speak on behalf of the Assembly. So on behalf of our union, I would like to present to Jerry a talking stick and the right to speak on our behalf.
Thank you, brother.
We're out of here. Talking dead, bro. You're ready.
All right.
You want me to clear my stuff up?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm good. You ready? Well, we've got a fair bit of media here today, so I would assume there's something going on. And what's going on is something that the federal government better start paying attention to. Because today, brothers and sisters, there's going to be some change. Sisters, brothers, delegates, guests, members, and our friends watching on live stream, welcome to a new era for the Canadian trade union movement. Welcome and thank you. Bonjour, confrères.
Good day, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon, and welcome to Toronto.
Are you ready to build Unifor? Are you ready to win justice? Are you ready to organize? More importantly, are you ready to take back our country? I know you are ready. I can see it. I can hear it. And so am I, brothers and sisters. I am immensely honored today and humbled to be elected as your founding president of Unifor. I understand the challenge that has been given me, but I am excited and energized by this responsibility. I'm not going to BS anyone in this room. I'm going to need a lot of help. And I know there's 2,500, 3,000 of us sitting in this room today that are absolutely prepared to lead, and thousands more in our Unifor workplaces that are ready to help us build this great union. Ken, Dave, thank you, brothers, for leading us to this day. It takes vision, takes leadership, it takes guts, it takes personal sacrifice to build something this great. Something great like Unifor. Your leadership in recognizing that the Canadian trade union movement needed some change. It needed some, it needed reinvigorating. It needed new blood. It needed to bring people together to build a strong organization. To this point, Dave, Ken, you make us proud. Thank you for your lifetime of trade unionism. Thank you for what you have done for our two unions and for our new union, Unifor. Please join me, all of you, in thanking two great union leaders. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you very much, Ken. All right, Jerry, take a breath. Sisters and brothers, here is my pledge to all of you. I will work night and day to work and to connect and to make sure that I learn about your issues, I learn about your workplaces, I learn about your communities, I learn about your struggles. I will be there to speak with you. I will be there to speak for you. Many in this hall already know me quite well, but many in this hall are just getting to know me. So please, please, let me indulge you just for a moment and let you tell you a little bit about myself. Tell you a little bit about my background. Tell you a little bit about how this fire of trade unionism started in this short little body of mine. I come from a strong blue-collar family, working-class family, and I'm very proud of that, brothers and sisters, because in many ways our family really lived the classic immigrant and trade union experience. That was a time when manufacturing jobs were still expanding. It was a time when the economy was expanding. My father is Guyanese. My mother is Guyanese. He worked at de Havilland Aircraft. He stood out there. They looked at him and they thought he was Latin American. They called him Desi. I guess that would have mean my mother would be Lucille Ball. But the reality is de Havilland Aircraft is a multicultural factory. Therefore, his nationality was basically irrelevant. The workers elected him as a shop steward, as their financial secretary, and ultimately the president of a local union. He then left the local union and joined the national union led by Bob White, and he became a rep with the UAW and the CAW. Bob White was my father's friend and his leader. And Bob White, brothers and sisters, is my hero. He is right here today. Bob, look at what you started, brother. Just look at what you started. You started something that's unstoppable. It's a Canadian union for Canadian workers. And just look at us now, Bob. Thank you very much. Stand up. I followed in my father's footsteps. I was a shop steward at de Havilland by the time I was 20. I was plant chairperson of 26 and president of the local union. Then a CAW rep, and then an assistant to President Buzz Hargrove, and now Ken Loenza. Buzz, brother, I know you're watching us right now on live stream. I just want to tell you thank you so much, brother. You made our union proud. I was elected plant chairperson at a young age. But I was nervous, I got to be honest with you. I was overwhelmed. At 26, we had 2,700 people in the plant, and I was nervous. And I remember when I sat down with my father and he could detect my nervousness, he said, listen. He said, just relax. He says, don't be afraid. You're going to make mistakes. He says, but just don't make the same mistake twice. And he says, understand that respect is earned. It's never granted by the name that's on your door. You have to come to work early. You've got to open your door. You've got to talk to your members. You've got to build your local union, and then you will gain true respect from your members. And I've lived by that mantra since I was elected back in 1978. So I thought about what my father has said to me a lot over the years, and I've thought of what he has said a lot over the last 3 weeks since I accepted nomination to be your president. It's with pride today that I am the founding president of Unifor, but I am very proud of the fact that I know that I am my father's son. Thanks, Dad, for being my true inspiration. Stand up, Dad. Give him a wave. See if you can get up. Jerry Dyer Sr., brothers and sisters. My mother was also a worker. She was a factory worker in W.J. Gage. She made envelopes. She ran a machine. She was a union activist. She was committed and deeply principled. Listen to this. She was a member of the old Toronto Bookbinders Union, the old GCIU, merged with the GCIU, and is now CEP Local 591G. So let me get something straight here. If my father is the CAW and my mother came from CEP, I guess that must make me rightfully Unifor. Come on! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
You bang that one out of the park, boy.
I've got one regret today. My mom isn't here to share this moment. And as a trade unionist, she would have loved to be here today. But for the last 3 weeks, she's been in a long-term care facilities in Oshawa dealing with her own formidable challenges. This is tough for me today because, listen, I'm a mama's boy. So my body and soul are here today. But a huge part of my heart is at Hillsdale Terrace in Oshawa. Look, Mom, I love you, and I'm going to see you on Tuesday. Thinking about my mother makes me think about our healthcare system and the caregivers who try, in spite of all of the cuts and short staffing, do their best each and every day. Our seniors, our caregivers, both deserve better, brothers and sisters. I'm proud that healthcare is one of the biggest sectors in Unifor. Over 26,000 members. We're going to fight like hell for fair treatment. We're fighting for our members. We're also going to fight for our parents. Where's my wife? Where's my children? Come on up here, please. Get up here. Come on. We're a family union here. Where's my family? Please come up here and join me. I am the father of 4 incredible children. Like many parents, I worry. Will they enjoy the same opportunities as us? A good unionized jobs, relatively secure futures. But in reality, I know their generation will likely be worse off than their parents. Even when they graduate from college, when they graduate from university, they have a huge debt. We know that they state that the rate of unemployment for the youth is 14%, but we know that it's a heck of a lot more than that. That their problems, their unemployment rates are double and triple the actual Canadian rate. Society has betrayed the hopes and dreams and the potentials of our young people. They are smarter than we are. They're better educated. They have tremendous potential. And they are doing what they're supposed to do. They got an education. They invested in their skills, and now what? Unemployment. Or else precarious work. Jobs that remotely don't use their skills that they work so hard to attain. Many times over the last couple of weeks, I've been asked to reporters, do unions, do they have a future in this country? And I say, you're damn right they have a future. And you know why? They have a future because young people are getting screwed and they're just not going to take it anymore. Young people are exploited, young people are frustrated, and we all know what happens when you're frustrated and you're exploited. People just don't sit down and take it, and they will always find ways to fight back. Take a look at what's going around us. Take a look. Young workers, young men, young women in the Second Cup in Halifax are fighting to join a union. Take a look at the Occupy movement in Quebec. The Occupy movement around the country. Take a look at the student movement in Quebec. These aren't people that are going to sit back and take it. These are young people that are going to fight for a better country, and they're going to fight for everything that they rightfully deserve. I have a son, and I have 3 daughters. 3 incredible young women. Every day my daughters fuel my passion to win true equality for women. Economic equality, yes, but social equality as well. Like ending violence against women. Violence against issue is a crucial issue to me. I'm constantly shocked and outraged by our lack of progress in ending violence. Like the murder of women in the garment industry in Bangladesh, the gang rape of women in India, the burning of poor women just over the last few weeks in Detroit. One died, two are clutching onto life barely. All this proves is that valuing women, respecting them, and keeping them safe is one of the fundamental human rights issues of our time. And it's not just a women's issue, it's a men's issue. It's all of our issue, and I know that. And my son knows that. Brothers and sisters, you have to understand. You have to understand that we have to make sure that our children get involved. By the time they're between 18, 20 in community issues, they have to get involved in their community. Because if they don't get involved at a young age, they'll likely never get involved at all. But our kids understand the importance of getting involved in community. You know why? Because their parents had good unionized jobs and were able to provide for them. And we tell them, you've got to give back to society because it's what is the basic fundamentals of who we are. So you got to get out there and work. And let me give you an example. Let me give you the best example I can give you. We always talk about what we're going to do in our community. And we live in Milton, which is 45 minutes from here. In the Toronto traffic, 2.5 hours. Our local newspaper is the Milton Champion. And we always talk about what it is we can do to give back. And on a Saturday morning, we sat at the breakfast table, and on the cover of it, on the front page, there was men standing with pink high heels on. And what they were doing is they were fundraising to raise monies for the 2 women's shelters in Milton. And of course, the task was, our joint task is how do we eliminate violence against women. So that day we said this is going to be our responsibility to the community of Milton. Because the first 2 walks, the first year in Milton they had 2 walks, they raised $16,000. The first year Jordan and I raised $32,000. This will be our 3rd march, and so far we have raised well over $100,000, and we're at that. And the third march, our 3rd walk, is going to be in a couple weeks. But brothers and sisters, the issue is not the money, even though that's important. I'll tell you what the issue is. The issue is that my 20-year-old son, he was 18, 19, and he's 20 now, took the discussions to his university. He took the discussions to his friends. He took the discussions in the bar that he has a couple drinks and then I have to pick him up at night so he doesn't have to drive home. But the most important things is he brings his friends, he brings his classmates to the walks. And this time around we're going to have even more young men at the walk, because for every one person that he brings, they'll bring a person, we'll have the debate, we'll have the discussion, and that's how we're going to change things, brothers and sisters, one person at a time. Ending violence against women is going to be a priority for Unifor, and that priority is going to start today, and it's going to start right now. Because I talked about the atrocities around the world, but we have enough atrocities here in Canada. Canada is not innocent. Every year, there's over 200,000 women that are victims of violence every year. Over 200,000. Every day, there's over 3,000 women in shelters. Every day, there's 2,500 kids in shelters trying to escape violence. And I think what is even the most deplorable stat that I can even imagine, Aboriginal women are 8 times more likely to be victims of violence. So violence, brothers and sisters, it's not a women's issue. It's everyone's issue, and it's my issue. And I challenge everyone in this room to show our sisters how much they mean to us and join the fight to eliminate violence against women. Unifor is 86,000 women strong, trade unionists. They will shape our union. They will lead. They will inspire. And they will act concretely to make sure that we achieve equality. In our union, and we're going to talk about it because we're going to deal with it right through the system, here are some of the things that we've done in collective bargaining. We have a women's advocate program that we put from collective agreement to collective agreement to collective agreement. We have 290 women's advocates in our workplaces that our women turn to at the times of need. And why do they do that? Why do we put in place the Women's Advocate Program? It's to give people hope. It's to allow women who are abused to seek some help, or to seek some help prior to being abused and prior to being killed. So brothers and sisters at the bargaining table, our pledge to you is make sure that the Women's Advocate Program is spread from coast to coast to coast, so that all the women in our workplaces know they have somewhere to go when they need some help. I want to talk about one very special woman trade unionist. It's my partner, Leslie. To know me, you got to know my partner, Leslie. She's a proud union activist, a mother. She's a hell of a negotiator. And I'll tell you how I know that. When I met Leslie, she was the vice chair of a CAW at the airport in Winnipeg. And I lived in Toronto, so we were having a long-distance relationship. And when we decided that it was to see if this relationship would work, it probably we should see if we could live in the same province. But before she would commit, she had to bargain our cohabitation agreement. So she said to me, number one, you need to know, and I've checked all this out, no woman ever left a man because he washed the dishes after a meal. She said to me, there's no such thing as a laundry fairy that will mysteriously come into the house and pick up the clothes and wash them and put them back in the dresser. So I said, Leslie, I get it, I understand, and that's absolutely fair, but I have one request. Would you mind very much that when I'm washing my clothes, you mind very much if I wash yours as well? She liked the answer, and we've been together for the last 24 years. She taught me about being an equal partner. She taught me about remaining strong during adversity. She taught me about mutual respect. She taught me about love. I'm very happy to have her as my partner. Please stand up, Leslie, or at least everybody, give everybody a wave. Leslie Dice. To complete my family, first my daughter Casey isn't here. She's in Winnipeg. She's a photographer. She committed to a wedding, and so she couldn't be here, and she's really ticked that she couldn't change it. But my daughter Carly is my special health care worker. She's a nurse, and she is the calm one of my 4 children. Carly, give everybody a wave. My daughter Carly. And my daughter Rebecca. Oh, my Rebecca. Let's just say that she is her father's daughter. You can tell by her shy disposition, she is absolutely my daughter, and I love them all so much. Unifor will be a family union. I thank my family, I thank my 3 sisters, I thank my extended family, because without the strength and support, I knew I wouldn't be standing here today. And I know that, and I thank you all very much. Brothers and sisters, this is a historical day. It's an incredible day for all of us. And Unifor is already making history. Everyone here is a part of that history. Why are we here today? Because we know that Canada, as it exists today, is failing. It's failing us all. It's failing to deliver the prosperity and the security and the respect that each and one of us deserve. The wealth is trickling up, austerity is trickling down. And I think what blows me away here is that rampant capitalism is on the offensive, even though they've screwed up so much lately. Just think of it. The global financial crisis, worldwide recession, the worst recession since the 1930s. It wasn't caused by unions. It wasn't caused by taxes. It wasn't caused by social programs. It was caused by old-style corporate greed. That's what caused the recession. And our economy is not getting better, contrary to what they're saying. Jobs are getting worse. Life is getting worse. Counting the hidden unemployment, we have over 2 million unemployed Canadians. And we call that progress? That is an absolute tragedy, and we need to fight to make sure we change that around. Because yes, some jobs are being created, but they're lousy jobs with lousy pay and lousy hours and no benefits and no pensions. Average living standards are no better today than they were a generation ago. And for many Canadians, frankly, they're much worse. And what makes me most angry is that this decline is not a result of circumstances outside of our control. This mess is as a result of clear choices. Choices that we can stop, brothers and sisters. Choices that we can change. Growing inequality was not an accident. It was the plan. It was a choice. The decline in manufacturing due to free trade and an overvalued petrodollar wasn't an accident. It was a choice. The cuts to UEI, they were a choice. A choice that forced people to leave their communities, to take jobs that paid even less. These were choices that didn't have to be made. Deregulating our telecommunications sector was another choice. Removing foreign ownership restrictions was another choice. Inviting Verizon into the Canadian market with special privileges was another choice. A choice by our Prime Minister and a choice by his Conservative caucus. They know full well, brothers and sisters, they're not nuts completely. They know that they're going to transfer thousands and thousands of Canadian telecom jobs to the United States. They know this. This isn't about consumers or the cost we pay for wireless. This is about sacrificing an important Canadian industry to support the conservative ideology that globalization always works. And what if Verizon hands over our communications records to American surveillance? Then it'll be far too late to protect our privacy. And that's what happens, brothers and sisters. And no one should ever forget that was also a choice. A choice that our own government made without our consent. Delegates, these were choices. They were bad choices. And brothers and sisters, it's time making different choices. Let me put it this way. Unifor is here because it's time to stop playing defense, and it's time we started to play offense. It's time to stop reacting, and it's time to start setting the agendas, brothers and sisters. Let's start setting the agenda. I want to tell you another story about choices. And this is a story about the choices that define us. A story that sums up what's wrong with Canada today. We will never forget the horrible tragedy at Lac Megantic. Two of our own, two CEP leaders of Local 299. They died in a hellish inferno. Roger Paquette, 61 years old. He was the unit chair at Energex Combustibles, a wood pellet manufacturer. He died in the fire that engulfed his home when he was in bed downtown. Yves Boulay was 51, a union activist for 20 years. He was the unit chair at Bestar, an office furniture manufacturer. Brother Boulay was amongst those trapped in the Musique Cafe when the explosion and firestorm swept the town. Mes deux confrères, Roger et Yves.
My two brothers, Roger and Yves, will never be forgotten. We will never forget you.
This wasn't just an accident. What is the real story behind Magentic? MMA, the Montreal, Maine and Atlantic Railway. They bought up short rail lines from CP and other railways because they wanted to scrap the less profitable routes. MMA wanted to squeeze the most profits, every dollar of profit they could out of these less busy routes. So they cut the workforce in half. They reduced wages by 40%. Remember, brothers and sisters, these jobs used to be performed by union members. They were good-paying jobs with decent wages and decent benefits. But not anymore. Railway deregulation created non-union jobs with lower wages, and as we have seen, with lousy safety conditions. MMA, they implemented a one-person crew and remote control systems. They left trains parked overnight on main lines, all to save money. No wonder that in 2012, MMA accident rate was already twice the industry average. Worst of all, the government allowed it to happen. The government facilitated it all. The government rubber-stamped the railways' repeated requests for exemptions. Years ago, brothers and sisters, railways used to serve the public interest. Remember, Canada was built through the railway. But then government deregulated the industry. They reorganized our railways as a result of free trade. They glorified the pursuit of profit at all costs. Once again, brothers and sisters, this was a choice. It was a choice to manage our railway industry like this, to manage our whole economy like this. And one night in July, MMA left a train full of oil on a hill outside of Lake Magentic. It was unattended and it was improperly secured. It started to roll and it crashed into town and exploded at 1 a.m. and it killed 47 people and they died a horrible death. And here's the final insult. The company will not take one stitch of responsibility for what they have done, for the lives that it took away, for the disaster it created. It already filed for bankruptcy, and they left it up to the public to clean up the mess. That's a damn insult. And the guy got rich. He got rich running MMA. And he's trying to wash his hands of a human disaster that his company caused. We can't let him away with this, brothers and sisters. We can't let his company off the hook. They're responsible for what was done here, and he should be spending the rest of his ass life in jail. Throw him in jail. Brothers and sisters, Lac Magentic represents the triumph of greed over people. It's time to stop making these choices. Choices like deregulation, privatization, free trade, sacrificing communities for the interests of private property. It's time to start making better choices. In short, brothers and sisters, our society is on its ass, upside down. And it's our responsibility and that's our job to make sure we turn things right side up. And together we're going to do this. This isn't going to happen by chance. This isn't going to happen by complaining. Change will happen when we come together and show our collective power. But unless we rebuild union power, we won't get better results. We need to step up our game. We need to get better at what it is we do. And in some cases, we need to do things differently. Because we need better results for our members and for all working people. Unifor is going to be a new kind of a union. And what's new about Unifor, you may ask? Our breadth, our scope are going to be unprecedented. We're going to be the largest industrial union in Canada, ever in the history of Canada. We're going to represent members and workers in 20 economic sectors. Critical mass of members in every province, private sector workers, public sector workers, all in one union. We represent the entire value chain of the economy, resources, transportation, manufacturing, communication, and servicing. And brothers and sisters, we're going to have a defense fund of over $440 million. And it's big enough to ensure that not one Unifor member will ever be starved out by the boss. No Unifor member will ever be starved out. I promise you that. There have been large Canadian unions before. Both CEP and CAW were in themselves large Canadian unions. But together we can now truly say, brothers and sisters, that Unifor is a union for everyone, no matter where you work or where you live. What else is new about Unifor? We're going to incorporate state-of-the-art strategies and technologies in organizing and bargaining and communications and engagement. Just look at this convention, brothers and sisters. Live streamed. Social media, we're connected. Organizing, that's essential. We'll be more ambitious and be more creative in organizing than any union in Canadian history. We're going to spend, brothers and sisters, $10 million a year. And we've got into place a concrete plan to make sure we use it wisely, to rebuild union destiny and to enhance our collective power. And there's more. Unifor Constitution opens our doors to workers who have been excluded from the benefits of unions. Right now, brothers and sisters, there's millions of workers excluded from collective bargaining. We intend to change that with our community chapters. Any group of workers, any group with a common interest, with a plan, they can join our union through our community chapters. They can join with us. They can use your power, or they can join with us. Together we'll have solidarity, brothers and sisters, and we'll have that solidarity and we'll use that to help improve our own lives. We create a new union today, but we never forget where we came from. We are building on a rich history, and we will always honor and uphold the great traditions that made CEP and CAW so successful. We remember the generations of trade unionists that came before us. They built the proud unions that made us who we are today. After all, CEP was a result of 8 mergers. CAW was the result of over 40 mergers. And today we're achieving the biggest merger of all. We're building a powerful organization of workers from every province and every industry with a vision, with power, and with creativity. Let me say a few words about the incredible history we are building on. CEP was founded in 1992. Its formation was the landmark of Canadianization of our labor movement. CEP principles included a deep commitment to pattern bargaining. They brought us a legacy of militancy and solidarity while in bargaining. They fought and won some of the longest struggles in the history of the movement. Fletcher Challenge, 9 months. Abitibi-Bowater, 5 months. Bell Alliance, 6 months. And don't forget the Petro-Canada strike that lasted over 13 months. Brothers and sisters in the CEP proved to the boss that no matter how long the boss can hold out, our CEP proved that we would hold out one day longer. And in Unifor, we'll never forget that lesson, and we will always hold on one day longer. Talk about hanging tough, because here's what really defines a union. And that's why within the CAW we are going to be so proud that we have joined together today with the CEP, because here's the type of culture. The CEP fought a 14-year battle with Bell Canada. It was over pay equity for 4,700 operators. 4,700. 14 years. Over the 14 years, most of those operators had retired. Some had lost their jobs, but the CE kept fighting and they kept campaigning. Finally, after 14 years, they were able to win $100 million. That's provided justice to those women and men that got screwed by Bell Canada for all those years. Those women had their wages adjusted. Those women who were retired, we found them. Those women received $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 each. Those women had their pensions adjusted. And this is years after they left the workplace. It shows what type of a union we are, brothers and sisters. And brothers and sisters, that is Unifor. CEP was always known for its progressive activist policies. It stepped it up and made some of the biggest differences and some of the biggest challenges of all time. CEP was the first union, the first Canadian union that stood up and said, listen, we support the Kyoto Accord. And joining with CUPE, the CEP was able to block Mike Harris cold in his tracks when he was trying to privatize Hydro One, which would have been the largest privatization ever attempted in Canada. And if you could have stopped Harris privatizing Hydro One, brothers and sisters, we got a lot of work to do that the Conservative government in Harper slows down, and we're not going to let him continue to privatize our industries. To all the CEP activists, local union leadership, the former leadership, thank you very much for your contribution, for your activism, your passion, and for making sure you take all of that enthusiasm and you've got it here today in this room as Unifor. Let me talk a little bit about the CAW's DNA, the other half of Unifor. We formed our great union in 1985, and it was also a landmark in the building of the Canadian labor movement. We knew we had to be the masters in our own house. We knew we weren't getting the service we demanded as being part of an international union. They were trying to control us. We felt we didn't have the respect we deserved. They didn't respect and understand our Canadian identity. So we forged our own path. So we formed a union in 1985 that represented Canadian workers with Canadian values, fighting on behalf of Canadian priorities. And we knew that we were doing a hell of a job representing and empowering our members. The UAW will always be committed to social unionism, because social unionism means so much to us. We fought hard in bargaining. We fought hard in the political arena. We fought for programs. We fought for benefits to help all workers, their families, and our communities. We pioneered same-sex benefits. We put it in our collective agreements. We won subsidized daycare. Anti-harassment language, we put it in our collective agreement. We put into place equity programs. We bargained families' legal services. But when we bargain these things, and we're going to do this as Unifor, we understand that, yes, we borrow them first for our members, but then we take them from our larger workplaces to the smaller workplaces, and then we make sure that those types of gains that we make as an organization and as a movement trickles down to the non-union workers so that we can build confidence and we can build a much stronger movement for all Canadian workers. Because that's what social unionism is all about, brothers and sisters. What we demand for ourselves is what we demand for everyone in this country. The CAW's education program is the biggest and best in Canadian labor. And Port Elgin is the heart of our education program. We will continue, brothers and sisters, because Port Elgin is our jewel. We're going to make sure that we have so many educations. We're going to make sure that we keep the center full. But education doesn't just happen in Port Elgin. It happens everywhere. It happens in every province. It happens in every city. And we're going to make sure that Unifor is going to continue not only to provide the same service, but we're going to provide better service as it relates to education in our workplaces, educating our youth, better education than we've ever had in the past. And that's my commitment to each and every one of you here today. The CAW was also known for our leadership and its unity. We were a union that could get things done. Sure, we had our debates, we had our controversies, we had our arguments, we had a lot of them actually. But once we had the debate, once we had the argument, we always moved forward as one. Because we understood that in order for us to have true success, we had to move forward as one. We had some of the most outspoken, influential leaders in the movement. And that wasn't by accident. It reflected their great personal strength, but it also, more importantly, it reflected our system. It reflected us, because our leaders knew that when we made a decision, when they were making the fight, they knew they had the whole force, they had the whole organization walking right side by side with them and behind them. So that's what collective power means, brothers and sisters. It means that when we agree to do something, we're all going to stick together, we're going to get it done. That culture of unity will be essential in our new union as well. And we will build it, we will nurture it. Every fight we take on, every battle we win, every debate we have, we will work together, we will fight together, we will stick together, and we will build a union that acts together as one. That's what we have to do for each and every day, and we need to do that for each other, brothers and sisters, because we have to watch each other's back while we're building this great organization. I say to our CAW members and leaders and activists, I salute all of you. I thank you. The unity, the legacy you built will continue in Unifor. In short, Unifor will never forget our history. Every accomplishment of our past and every lesson we learned is precious to us. But we cannot be captives of the past, brothers and sisters. Today we create a new union, and starting today we begin to build a new history. As we built Unifor through this incredible process over the last 2 years, we asked members, what kind of a union do you want? And they were very clear. They said they want a modern union, they want an accountable union, they want a democratic union, they want a transparent union, above all, they want a progressive union. They want us to fight for equality. They want us to fight for inclusion. They want a union that communicates effectively and listens as well as it speaks. Our members are women, men, white, lesbian, gay, straight, Aboriginal, disabled, workers of color. We will be a union that takes its responsibility to fight exclusion and discrimination. Let's just think about this. Think about the timing of our convention. 50 years ago on Wednesday, 50 years ago was the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. And what were the goals of the Great March on Washington? It was about jobs, it was about equality, it was about racial and economic equality, it was about a dream, it was about a hope. And why are we all here today, brothers and sisters? We're here because we want a union, we want a society based on economic and racial equality. We want opportunity. We want hope. We want all of those things that predated the march 50 years ago. Dr. King, that was your dream 50 years ago, and I'm going to tell you today. There's almost 4,000 people in this room today that share your dream, and we're going to fight like hell to make sure that we fulfill the dual dream of freedom and jobs. And that'll be the mantra of Unifor, brothers and sisters. Because we will never forget that there will be no equality without justice. And there will be no justice as long as there is racism and discrimination still exists in this society. I also want to send a message to our LGBT communities, members and allies. Unifor will step up firmly, here and everywhere, where our solidarity is needed. I'm appalled, to be honest with you. I'm totally disgusted about what's going on in Russia today. I'm appalled that in Russia they passed anti-gay legislation, where pride is now a crime. Russian legislators shamelessly passed unanimously for that legislation, unanimously. I can assure you that we must condemn this bigotry. We have to express our solidarity with the LGBT community in Russia. And I'll do that immediately. Immediately after this convention, I'll be sending and writing a letter to Putin saying that we absolutely are disgusted by your government's actions, and we will work with the community in Russia. And we will encourage the working class in Russia to get off their ass and work to eliminate bigotry and hatred in Russia, because the movement has to take on that fight. In short, brothers and sisters, I pledge to all our members today that Unifor will be a union with endless determination to win social justice. We'll be effective and determined at the bargaining table. We'll be hard. We'll make sure that we bring home the bacon for our members. Just think of it, brothers and sisters. The union puts money in our members' pocket. Think about the union advantage, brothers and sisters. A unionized worker makes $5 an hour more than a non-union member. A unionized woman worker makes $7 an hour more than a non-union woman worker. That's the real economic value of unions. Unions pump over $1 billion a week in extra spending power to the Canadian economy. So guess what? I'm not going to apologize for that extra income. I'm not going to apologize because we're successful at the bargaining table. It's something that we should all be proud of, brothers and sisters. Because guess what? It's not a crime in Canada to earn a decent wage. It's not a crime in Canada for us to earn enough money to support our families and to help put your kids through school and to have a pension. This ought not to be a crime. It's our right, brothers and sisters. And Unifor is going to make that right a reality. Because of each and every working person in Canada should have the right to have a good paying jobs with benefits, with pensions, and should have the right to work with the support of a union. Yes, making progress at the bargaining table is important, but we'll be just as effective in the political arena because our members need both. Make no mistake, governments are going to know exactly where we come from. After all, our union is born in the middle of a historical struggle to defend labor rights. The Conservative government in Canada has decided to challenge our democratic right to organize and collect dues. They are singling out unions. They're attacking our finances. They're attacking our ability to represent our members. And there will be more attacks ahead, brothers and sisters, including a direct assault on the RAND formula. We know the importance of the RAND formula. It was a proud Unifor local, Local 200. Local 200 in Windsor that won the RAND formula with a historic strike and a blockade. Will the delegates of Local 200 please stand up? Where are the Local 200 delegates? There you are. Local 200. Thank you very much. Thank you for what your local union did for the whole trade union movement in Canada. I pledge to you and every trade unionist, every trade union and member, they will not take away the RAND formula, not without one hell of a fight. It's a fundamental principle of democracy that when the majority decide to form a union, that everyone pays their share because everyone benefits. Let's be honest. Eliminating the RAND formula and frankly legalizing free riders is nothing less than an attempt to destroy our movement and create union-free workplaces and a union-free society. If our federal government and other governments attack our fundamental freedoms, make no mistake, Unifor will define ourselves through our resistance and through our struggle. We will organize, we will mobilize, we will reach our members, our communities, and our public at large. We will do everything necessary across all of our 20 economic sectors in any part of this country to preserve the right for free collective bargaining, just like the members of Local 200 did over 70 years ago. And now that the Prime Minister has prorogued government again, shutting down democracy once again, and by proroguing Parliament again, they have wiped out that historic vote that happened in the Senate to amend Bill C-377, the bill that attacks unions and our rights to be socially and politically active. So now C-377 must go back to Senate all over again. What a waste of time and money. Because the bill is fundamentally flawed. It's wrong-headed. We know that, and so do they. So do all the experts that appeared before the Senate. They testified before the Senate. What an irony. So it seems we do have an accountability problem in this country. But it's not about the unions. The last time I looked, Pamela Wallin wasn't a union member. Mike Duffy wasn't a union member. Patrick Brazeau wasn't a union member. Mark Harb didn't belong to a union. And Nigel Wright, he wasn't a union member either. They weren't spending our dues. They were spending the taxpayers' money with their phony expenses. Now they're going to audit all of the centers, and it'll cost Canadians more than $2 million. I think I can save a way to save them a few dollars. Why don't you just manage the Senate the way we manage our union? Simple things. If you want to spend members' money, take it to a meeting for a vote. You have union trustees, they check the spending 4 times a year and report that to the members. We have annual audited financial reports that any members can look at. And if you misuse the members' money, you don't just pay it back, you get thrown out of office. And that's what should happen to them. They should be thrown out of office. Accountability? Yeah, let's have some accountability. Let's talk about accountability, brothers and sisters. Proroguing government. Shutting down our democracy. That's not about accountability. That's about avoiding accountability. Whoops. Since the last election, good hands, buddy. Nice catch. Since the last election, the Harper government intervened in collective bargaining 5 times to help break strikes, to help the employer. Post Office, CP Rail 3 times with Air Canada. 5 times they stripped workers of basic rights and intervened to support employers. Now let me ask all of you this question. Where is the Labour Minister today? Her own government has walked off the job. They're on an illegal strike, in my opinion. They shut down Parliament purely to avoid the latest scandals. Where is the Labour Minister? Order those MPs back to work. If you can order postal workers back to work in the public interest, and if you can oppose the employer's final proposals, then you can sure as hell order yourself and the members of Parliament back to work and take care of the nation's business. And we know why the Conservatives are doing this. They just don't like us. They don't like what we stand for. They resent our influence in political debates, and they think they can silence us. But I would say that this country needs our political voice more than at every level. And our voice will be heard. It will be heard loud and clear. Let's use our voice to call for a job summit, brothers and sisters. Let's use our voice to call for a Buy Canadian strategy for public purchases. It's not complicated. It's a strategy that we've used. It's the same policy that put 400 young people to work in Thunder Bay, building railway cars after our union and our movement forced government to buy force Toronto to buy Canadian-made streetcars. We've been calling on a good job summit for years. Why can't we get government, business, unions, colleges, universities? Why can't we get everybody in a room and have a discussion about jobs? Do we not think that the unemployed and our young people deserve for us to do that? And I'll say this to you, brothers and sisters, because trying to get the government to take any sort of ownership for job creation is like pulling teeth. So let me propose this to each and all of you in this room today. I propose that Unifor host a Good Job Summit, together with any other stakeholder that believes we have a jobs problem. So let's do it ourselves. Let's do it in the first year of our existence. What do you say, brothers and sisters? Do we owe it to the unemployed? Let's use our voice. to say no more free trade agreements like CETA. Because we know what CETA does. We know that it'll sacrifice tens of thousands of jobs in manufacturing, in auto, in telecommunications. It would scrap local procurement rules. It would force our seniors to pay more for drugs. We need to call for a Canadian energy strategy. A strategy that uses our energy and uses it wisely. We use it with sustainability. We add value to it right here in Canada. Instead of just digging out of the ground and trench and digging it out even faster than ever and shipping it off raw to the United States, why can't we have a strategy in here to create even more jobs? Why can't we refine it here? Why can't we take advantage of the raw materials and the natural resources we have in Canada to create the type of jobs we demand for our children? We will use our voice in the debate over the Canadian Health Care Accord. We must make sure that public Medicare is secure for the next generation. We must protect our health care members from being the next members or the next victims of austerity. And we will speak loudly and clearly about pensions. We reject the idea that Canadians must now work till age 67 before they get a full retirement. We will fight and we will show that by expanding CPP, it's the best way to address our pension problem, but it's also the best way to create jobs for our new people. We need to make sure that our seniors are taken care of with dignity. They have a pension that they can live on. And when they retire in dignity, that'll create the jobs that we need for the youth of today. So in short, we need to build a union. We need to build a union that will play a politically active role in this country. Because we're going to build a union that's going to deal with the politics of hope. We're going to deal with opportunity. We're going to eliminate intolerance, and we're going to talk about social solidarity. Unifor will be in the heart of politics, brothers and sisters. As a union, we will engage in those debates honestly and independently. We will defend the interests of our members and all workers, and at the bargaining table in society in general. When we think of hope and we think of love in politics, we got to think about Jack Layton that died 2 years ago. I invite you all to go down to the ferry terminal just down the road. And you've got to see the new statue that was erected on behalf of Jack Layton. It was a gift from the Ontario Federation of Labour. The statue has Jack on the back of a tandem bike, and it's called Jack Has Your Back. He did have our backs, and we miss him. And that's why we're all here today. We got to get on the front seat of that bike, and we need to think about this wonderful city where we are meeting today. Because let me tell you, brothers and sisters, a world-class city needs a world-class mayor. Unfortunately, we don't have a world-class mayor. We have a world-class embarrassment. We have a mean-spirited, we have a divisive, lying conservative who's more concerned about attacking unions and attacking working people and slashing taxes than he is about building a city. So I hope that by the next time we have a meeting in Toronto, that we will be inviting the new mayor of Toronto, Mayor Olivia Chow. Unifor's fight, we will fight for our rights, for a better Canada, but we need to do that in solidarity with the complete trade union movement. On behalf of all of you here today from all the locals in every part of this land, we send our greetings in solidarity to the whole labor movement. Today we have Brother Giorgetti, we've got Brother Moyes, we have Brother Newman, we have all kinds of leaders from the movement across the country who are here to join with us today. We will tell you that Unifor is here for unity and is here for solidarity. You can count on us. You can count on the new partnerships in building our union. It's going to be a movement from the grassroots of Unifor. It's going to be a movement from our labor councils, the federations, and the Canadian Labour Congress. And we're proud to have here our fraternal guests in the global labor movement. Leaders here from Europe, Australia, Latin America, Mexico, United States. Comrades, welcome to our great convention. You are here today because of the working relationships and friendships we've built over the years of shared struggle. Our relationship, our friendship will only grow with Unifor. We know that in many places trade unionists are on the fight lines. They're fighting for democracy. Trade unionists have always been a primary targets of repressive regimes. We will stand with you. We will commit that Unifor will make international solidarity a vital part of everything that we do. At the same time that we stand with you, we know that you'll be standing with us. We are strengthened by you. We are inspired by you. We're inspired by your activism, by your courage, even facing more difficult circumstances than we do here today. But look around the world, brothers and sisters. Look at the workers in South Africa. 300,000 workers in South Africa on street fighting against austerity. They're demanding economic justice, just like they fought years ago to end their terrible, oppressive apartheid regime. And look at the workers in Korea, an incredible tradition of militant trade unionists. Now, those unions are facing the same threats from arrogant companies that we deal with here in North America, and arrogant companies like we deal with here in Canada. Think about it. General Motors telling the workers in Korea that unless they cut their wages and cut their activism, they're going to leave South Korea. And I'm going to tell General Motors right now, as I stand here, we are going to stand with those workers in Korea. We're going to stand with General Motors workers across the globe. Because if you take on workers in Korea, you're taking on workers in Canada. And we're going to fight with them to make sure that they get good jobs that they deserve. Look at the fast food workers across the United States going on strike. Even without a union, to demand a living wage. And I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, that's a sign of courage. And if the fast food workers are going to fight for decency and security in the United States, then I would suggest all of us in this room should start working with the fast food workers in the different restaurants in Canada. Let them know that Unifor is for them, and let them know that we intend on walking side by side with them until they get social justice. I say to our friends in civil society and the social justice movements and the environmental movement, please know that Unifor is your partner. We will be full partners with our shared struggles for peace, justice, and sustainability. Most of all, we want to send a message of hope and solidarity to every worker in Canada that needs the power of a union and yet doesn't have one. Workers in non-union jobs, including students, young workers, precarious workers, underemployed workers, casuals, and temp workers, and everyone else that they told you unions are not for you. Today we are founding a union for you, Unifor, a union for you. We invite you to change your lives by joining our shared struggle, and in doing so, you will change our labor movement in our country. To make our dream a reality, we need a plan. The policy paper that we will discuss lays out a lot of alternatives. It lays out a plan, and it lays out our priorities. Job one is to build our new union. Our members need to meet each other. They need to start working together at every level. We need to create new councils, establish our public profile, make sure the Unifor logo is everywhere that our members are. Building Unifor starts with engaging our members. Our convention document describes a very ambitious membership engagement plan. Look at the plan and ask yourselves, what can we do in our locals? What can we do in our workplaces? How do we engage our own members in building Unifor? Our members need to hear from Unifor, see it, connect with it. We will make sure that in the transition, that the staff, the servicing, the bargaining is seamless for both CEAW and CEP workplaces. Our locals are the foundation of Unifor, and our document calls for a task force on building stronger locals. I will make sure that that task force gets underway in the coming months. And following the convention, brothers and sisters, we must also launch our new organizing strategy, and we're going to discuss that plan in detail tomorrow. We have the vision, we have the resources to make it happen, and now it's up to us. I want to congratulate the new National Executive Board, the new members of our new Unity team, which has over 40% women on the new Leadership Executive Board. Together we'll be a collective, effective, accountable team. I'm so grateful for all of you, for your personal commitment you are making here today for our new union. I also want to recognize the Unifor staff, our representative, department staff, support staff. Facts are, we need everyone pulling together in order to make this a great union. We can't do this without you. Finally, let me say this to you, the activists and leaders in this hall. Ultimately, it's up to you to take our decisions and our plan to the 300,000 members in all of our workplaces. We will not be judged by our rhetoric, we will be judged by our actions, as it should be. That's why we are activists, because we want action. That's why Unifor must be, above all, a fighting union. A union that's defined by our willingness to identify injustice wherever it's experienced, and then leap into action to correct the injustice. Canadians are getting to know our new name and logo. They will get to know our new you. The symbol of activism, of solidarity, of making a difference. So today, brothers and sisters, we are building a new country. We're building a union with a vision of equality at our core, where all are engaged to the fight for true equality. We're building a union that organizes every day, because we understand that if we can't organize ourselves, we can't organize others. We're building a union that fights for Canada and that will protect and fight to protect our democracy. We're building a union that pushes back against greedy employers, against corrupt politicians, and against those that want to divide and destroy rather than unite and build. We are going to build a union that when they push us, we will push them back twice as hard. Most of all, we are building a union with the determination and capacity to dream. We believe that a better world is possible, and we will mobilize and take action. You know why, brothers and sisters? Because we need to start to build a new country. A new country that's built on respect and social responsibility. We need a country that respects our First Nations. Un pays qui respecte l'histoire.
A country that respects history and the national rights of Quebec.
Based on diversity and human rights for everyone who lives here. And we're building a country where young people experience opportunity, protection, education, and above all, love. A country with hospitals and long-term care facilities to care for everyone, to care for everyone in dignity, to care for our parents when they get old. Because, brothers and sisters, we need to build a country where communities and jobs and the environment are more important than profit and corporate greed. We are building a country where free collective bargaining is treated as a fundamental human right, a right that cannot be taken away from us by government, not by any government, especially not by this government. We are building a country where every willing Canadian can have a good job, with decent pay and rights and conditions and benefits, and for a union to stand up for them. Sisters and brothers, that's why we are founding a new union today. We're starting a new movement today. We're starting to build a new country today. That's what Unifor will do. That's what we will do. Unifor, the union, united, forward, strong, a union for you, a union for everyone. Canada needs Unifor. The Canada can't be built without Unifor, and Unifor starts here today, brothers and sisters. Our future begins today, and it begins with us in the room. Thank you all very much, brothers and sisters. Let's get it done.
You fucking nailed it, Joe.
Where's Ken? Where's Ken? Unifor! 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 Where's Ken? Unifor! Unifor! Unifor!
Unifor! Unifor! Unifor! Unifor! Unifor! Unifor! Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Let's change the country. Thank you. All right, don't leave the hall. Do not leave the hall. Did we not pick the right president for Unifor? All right, please do not leave the hall because we have a legal business that must be done today. We must vote by the CEP and the CAW to merge into Unifor. It's got to be done, so don't get out of your seat. Just take him. Just take him. All right. Please take your device out of your... No. All right, I'm going to give an explanation here. Here's what the law requires. All right? And we're going to start because the devices are programmed to separate the CEP votes and the CAW votes, but we got to do them separately. Take out the merger agreement in your binders and take a look at it. They are identical, so I don't care if you got the CAW or the CEP merger agreement. We need to do this so that your successor rights of your local union follow you from either the CEP or the CAW to Unifor. All right, we're going to vote on the CAW crew first. Just CAW members, take your device out, and if the crew could put the question up.
Just take them a minute. Okay, great. There it is.
All right, this is for CAW members only. Okay, you got it? This is your last act as a CAW member. The second you push the right button, the number 1 button, all right? Or in French, and en français, all right? The voting is open. Cast your ballots for CAW to merge into Unifor.
Doing good, Peter.
All right? Please close the voting. Do not display the results. Okay? Okay, tell me when somebody in the back, wave your hands when you're ready to post. Okay, microphone 1.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Danielle Heggie, Unifor, 1119. We had the ability to vote during that vote for the CAW members, so...
It doesn't count. Won't go through.
Count?
It's blocked off. You can't do it.
Very good. I didn't think it was supposed to show.
No. You shouldn't have voted anyway.
Okay.
No, it's blocked off. Tighter the drum.
Thank you.
The reason it's blocked off is that we have to legally prove and show which way you voted, right? And we're doing that. Now, can you change the question? Mike 1.
Rob Alaz, Vice President CAW, former CAW, Local 77. It's not working. I can't record my vote.
Try another one. Try another one.
Yeah, I know that's what it says, but in here, when... They can't. This has been no, they could...
Okay, for those that are worried about it, don't forget these are SIM cards. You can't cross them up. So if you accidentally vote, it just doesn't happen if you're a CEP member. It just won't go in the computer. Your SIM card blocks it. All right? The votes are closed. Can you please put up the CEP question? Now, this is, which hand is a nickel in? Right? For the CEP delegates, that means the CAW people, put down your devices, don't touch them, because they won't count anyway. All right? Right, the vote is open. All right? Please close the vote. No. Okay, they're just calculating. I want to make sure the technicians get it right. Jim's going to fix it up right now, because we got to show them separately, right? I got a little cheat box here I'm watching. Oh. Well, I'm watching the monitor.
No, it's going to go straight up.
Oh, it's going to go straight up. Okay, all is fine. I'm not even going to get the cheat box. They're just going to put it up when it's done. They're going to give me the thumbs up here. And don't leave after the vote, because there's a couple of really important messages. And some closing remarks. Yeah, where is it? Get it now. Go fast.
Okay, Dave, you can call for the results. Put up the results.
All right, I'd like to ask the technicians to please post the results. Woo! 99.30 yes, CAW. For the CEP, 95.46. Congratulations! This is a historic day, not just in Canada, but around the world. Now, there's a couple of things that have got to be done, and we'll do them quickly. First, we've got to apologize to Sister Naomi Klein, who has so graciously agreed that she'll come and speak to us in the morning. And we apologize to Jim and his crew. We're going to deal with the policy papers, and we're going to hand over to Brother Dias a very crunched up agenda for tomorrow that he's going to have to make it work, and Ken and I are going to be watching him with beady eyes. Okay, Mike, 6. 4. Oh, sorry, 4. Sorry, sister.
Point of privilege, Sue Slane, Unifor 975. Just on the results of the vote that we just had, it had 1,200 votes for CAW. That's all they cast? That seems extremely low.
It's a different model.
That was the individual. That wouldn't have been the weighted vote.
You see, ours is a different system. Ours is a weighted vote, and I'm just going to check if... Good point, Sue. Hang on.
Okay, no, it's explained as the difference between our current practice is a vote, one member, one vote versus a vote weight model. Okay, so that's the issue, how it was voted on. Chemeza got that right. So in the CAW world, one delegate, one vote, typically would be a show of hands. CEP world, weighted delegate vote, secret ballot. It wasn't all secret ballot, but that was how the discrepancy occurs.
It's your requirement in your country.
So I'm sorry I missed that because I was a little slow here, but it's the constitutional requirements of the two different unions. Ours must be a weighted vote, and theirs were a delegate vote in their constitution, so we complied with the constitution. I'm just looking at... Andrea. Is there somebody at mic 4? No. Go ahead.
There's a CEP tradition that we've had over the last several conventions that we've had, raising money for the CEP charity of choice, which is Spina Bifida. And the Western Region Area Councils have run 50-50 draws. And at each convention for the last several conventions, we've raised well over $10,000 in our draws. So today, thank you to everyone for participating. And the draw today, the winner is going to be getting $5,500. So if we can get, Jimmy, you want to, will one of you just reach over? It's okay. We don't, Randy? Here, Randy. Jesus, where am I? Am I going? Okay. Oh, yeah. They will. Oh, beautiful. Okay, the winning number is 070-4535. 070-4535, and the money will be at the Spina Bifida booth. Thank you so much, and we'll be back tomorrow. Please buy your tickets again.
Hold it, it's not adjourned yet, you guys, just because you lost the money. Just hang on. We need to make sure that all of the delegates are in the hall at 9:30 precisely tomorrow so the Brother Dias can get on time. This is my last opportunity to stand before you. I'll be handing over the reins to Brother Dias, and I want to thank my partner and my family and my son and all of you for such an incredible ride. We will see you tomorrow morning. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody wants to...
Just quick. Okay. I lost my phone yesterday at the rally. It's an iPhone 5. I really miss it. So if you find it, come give it back to me.
All right. Thank you very much for all of your support. We'll see you in the morning. Do not forget the reception tonight at 6:30 in the Sheraton Hotel. Second floor. Andrea? The number. $4,535.